Lisa has so many questions to ask, which I know some of them go this way. Is this how marriage is? Is this how some men are? For how long will I continue this way? Of course, her paramount question is this: are men polygamous in nature? She remembered a particular day when her husband's phone rang. She picked up the phone and gave it to him to answer. It was one of his side chicks calling. He received the call talking to his side chicks in the presence of his wife, not hiding anything from his wife. He started sounding romantic. He promised to spend some time with her and to give her money for shopping. Lisa cannot remember the last time her husband gave her money for shopping. Immediately after the call, Lisa, who is already upset, picked up the phone to know who that was. Mr. Desmond, her husband, is always ready for her. He believed that he has a right to have as many side chicks as possible because to him, men are created to be polygamous. Lisa has never challenged or questioned the husband, but the husband's lifestyle made her to start fighting. The fight or the struggle has never favored Lisa, and she kept asking questions. Lisa grew up a good girl, turning into a good woman who was ready to do anything humanly and godly possible to keep her home. It was said that a killer doesn't like someone moving behind him with a knife. Why? Because he knows what a knife can do to a human neck. One day, Lisa's phone rang while she was in the kitchen. The husband who was near the phone picked up the phone, and that was SMS. The SMS said, "Hello dear, how are you today? Guess who?" And the SMS came from unsaved number. When the husband saw that, he quickly concluded that Lisa was seeing another man. He called her to come to the room at once. When she came in, he flared up aggressively, showing her the SMS and at the same time asking to know who the man was. At this stage, Lisa knew there was a problem. No amount of explanation from Lisa will make Mr. Desmond believe her. Mr. Desmond, who believed that men are polygamous in nature, is now telling us that women should be monogamous in nature. It was obvious because he was extremely furious to see such SMS came into his wife's phone. He bounced on her, beating her as usual. Innocent Lisa would always cry. Whenever Lisa gets to hear the news of her husband going out with other girls, she absorbs it. But it breaks her heart to witness such incidents herself. She remembered when she caught him red-handed toasting a girl. She caught him demonstrating to the girl how beautiful her body curves were. She overheard him asking the girl to give him chance to be her lover. When Lisa saw this one, she knew that this one was a homebreaker. She cried for her marriage because she was losing it to a strange woman. Her name is Lucy. She appeared today with pregnancy for Mr. Desmond, Lisa's husband. Things have got to the stage where going back can never be an option. Here, Lisa has no baby yet for Mr. Desmond. Could that be the reason why Lucy allowed herself to get pregnant for Mr. Desmond? Or was she promised marriage by Mr. Desmond? No one knows. This is the height of it for Lisa. She asked her husband if she was responsible for the pregnancy, but he could not talk. Lisa was heartbroken. She became embarrassed and beaten. All she could do was to leave. She left the husband and Lucy and moved indoor. Lucy's plan was working out as she proposed. She planned to push Lisa out of Mr. Desmond's house and occupy. Now she must gain Mr. Desmond's full attention for her to succeed. Could this be Mr. Desmond's plan, getting a second wife, or that he has made a mistake because of his belief that men are polygamous in nature? With Mr. Desmond's belief, we will be expecting him to get more girls pregnant and bring them home. Now that baby is involved in this case, Mr. Desmond has no option than to accommodate in his plans how to welcome the unborn baby. As a good woman with good upbringing, Lisa held the biblical teaching about divorce that discourages marital separation except for the cause of fornication. What happened today was enough evidence to show that Mr. Desmond, her husband, has been unfaithful. So Lisa has decided to call it a quit. She moved inside the room, packing her personal belongings with heart broken. Mr. Desmond carried his side chick into her bedroom, and Lisa has finished packing and ready to leave the house. Mr. Desmond did not care about Lisa anymore. He didn't ask her to stay back. All his attention was placed on Lucy, his pregnant side chick. Lisa left Lucy and Mr. Desmond and went away in tears. Mr. Desmond refused to see the beauty hidden inside his wife Lisa and has let her walk away, bringing into his home a strange woman from the street. I have some questions here. Before the marriage, did Lisa not see the sign of this kind of lifestyle from Mr. Desmond? Did she see the sign and was blinded by what we all call love today? If Mr. Desmond strongly believed that men are polygamous in nature, don't you think that even in his relationship life, he will still be showing it? Could it be that Lisa saw that but hoping that when they get married, he will change? Daghad Mill, in his book titled Model Marriage, he said, "Consider the fact that people do not really change, and so anything you do not like about your beloved and therefore spouse is also not likely to change." I don't know how many of us believe in that. There are so many questions to ask here, but let's continue. The future of this union is predictable for the fact that the foundation is filthy and faulty, and it is against God's marriage plan. Someone between these two will surely cry for help. Who will that be? Let's find out in our next video. Please, your advice is needed to conclude this story. Know that some people are waiting to see the conclusion of this story because this is exactly the problem they have in their homes. Advise these two people. Let's conclude this story together next Friday. Please help us to pass this information around by sharing this video. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure you turn on the notification bell for you to get our videos each time we post new videos. See you next Friday. Thank you for your support.